It was a quiet Sunday morning when Emma decided to clean the attic, a task she had put off for years. Dust blanketed every corner, and the scent of old paper and wood hung heavy in the air. A single beam of sunlight cut through the small window, illuminating dust particles that danced like tiny ghosts of time. Her eyes landed on a worn-out box labeled Tom's Things. Her heart skipped a beat. She hadn't dared to touch it since the day he died. Tom, her husband, her best friend. The love she had tragically lost 20 years ago in a car accident that shattered her world into a million pieces. Taking a deep, shaky breath, Emma pried open the box. Inside, his shirts lay neatly folded, still faintly smelling of his cologne. A few photos from their wedding day smiled up at her. And then, nestled at the very bottom, something caught her eye. An envelope, yellowed with age, sealed, and marked with his familiar looping handwriting. For Emma, to be opened when you miss me the most. Her hands trembled, her breath catching in her throat. She sank to the floor, the old boards creaking beneath her as if in sympathy. She could almost hear his infectious laugh echoing in the silent room. For 2 long decades, she had missed him every single day. But today, for some reason, the ache felt deeper, more profound than ever before. Maybe that's why she found it. Maybe it was finally time. With delicate fingers, she broke the seal. The paper was fragile, as if even time itself had respected the importance of its contents. A single handwritten letter lay inside. The words began softly. My dearest Emma, if you are reading this, it means life has gone on, even though mine couldn't. Please don't cry. I can almost see you doing that right now. You always cry when you read something emotional. I used to love that about you. A single tear escaped and traced a path down her cheek. Her eyes flew across the page, his voice a clear, loving murmur in her mind. I want you to know, I was never afraid that night. My last thoughts were of you. Of how you looked the first time I saw you in that red dress, standing by the lake. I remember thinking, that's the woman I'll spend my life with. And I did, Emma, even if it was shorter than we had planned. Her quiet tears turned into heavy sobs. She remembered that night, their last one together, when he de-kissed her forehead before leaving for the business trip he never returned from. The letter continued. I know you, Emma. You'll try to stay strong, to take care of everyone and pretend you're fine. But please, promise me something. Don't live your life inside the past. Live for all the moments we dreamed of. Travel, laugh, and please fall in love again if your heart lets you, because love, real love, never truly dies. It just changes form. Emma pressed the letter to her chest, her body shaking with emotion. Fall in love again? She whispered to the empty room. She hadn't. She never thought she could. Her life had become a quiet routine of work, family, and the ever-present memories of him. She forced her tear-filled eyes back to the page, the ink now slightly smudged. I left something for you. Under the old oak tree in our backyard, the one we planted on our wedding day. I buried a little box there. Open it when you're ready, not before. Her heart pounded against her ribs. She scrambled to her feet and ran downstairs, through the kitchen, and flung open the back door. The oak tree stood tall and proud, a living monument to their enduring love. The grass beneath it had grown wild, untouched for years. She fell to her knees and began digging with her bare hands, dirt clinging to her fingers as fresh tears fell into the soil. And then, she felt it. The cold, hard edge of a small metal box. She pulled it from the earth and brushed away the dirt. The lock was rusted shut, but with one firm push, it gave way. Inside were more photos from their honeymoon, a tiny glass bottle filled with sand from their favorite beach, and one more folded note. Her hands trembled as she opened it. If you found this, then I kept my promise. I told you I'd always find a way to make you smile again. So here's your next adventure, my love. There's a plane ticket in your dresser. To Italy, the place we never got to visit. I want you to go. Sit by the ocean. Feel the wind on your face. Smile for me. I'll be right there in every sunrise you see. Her breath hitched. She stood frozen for a moment, the letter clutched in her hand, before running back inside, straight to her bedroom dresser. Taped to the underside of the top drawer was an old, faded envelope with a barely visible airline logo. A ticket to Rome. Dated 2 decades ago. She sank onto the bed, the tears flowing freely again. But these weren't the broken, lonely tears she'd cried for 20 years. They were a strange, beautiful mix of grief and profound joy. For the first time since he was gone, she felt him again, not as a distant memory, but as a living presence right there with her. She whispered softly, "You really never left, did you?" That evening, Emma stood under the oak tree as the sunset painted the sky in brilliant shades of gold and pink, the same colors from their wedding day. She closed her eyes and smiled, a real, genuine smile. "Okay, Tom," she said to the wind. "Let's go see the ocean." The next morning, she packed a small suitcase. Inside, she carefully placed both letters, a photo of them together, and the tiny glass bottle of sand. She took one last deep breath, locked the door to her quiet house, and drove toward the airport, toward a promise 20 years late, but arriving right on time. When she finally arrived in Rome, she went straight to the coast and sat by the sea, just as he had asked. The waves whispered softly against the shore, and a gentle breeze brushed her face. A sense of peace she hadn't known since he left washed over her, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, she heard it, faint but clear, carried on the wind, his voice. "I told you I'd find you again, Emma." Her eyes filled with tears, but this time she smiled right through them. Because sometimes love doesn't end with goodbye. It waits. It waits for the moment when two hearts, no matter how far apart, finally meet again, in a letter, in a memory, or in the timeless whisper of the sea. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to subscribe for more emotional stories that remind us love, kindness, and hope are all around us. Let us know in the comments how Emma's journey made you feel. Thank you for watching.